Hey. It's your host, Troy Smith. I'm here with the infamous Dominic
Kellum.
I just call him Dom. What's up, Dom?
What's going on, Troy?
We got Dom in the building.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Look at Dom.
Hope everyone's having a lovely day.
Dom looking good. He's smiling. Dom is going to tell us about how to tailor our situation today, man.
Oh, all about it. We're about to tailor everybody's situation today.
Ooh, whoa. It's on and popping, man. So welcome to the Lounge, Dom. We want to show people how to make sure they're ready to show up and show out at their next opportunity in life in general. Dom told me he's gonna come on the show and shut everything down, make everybody look bad. And I'm on here with a baseball cap and everything. You on here looking tailored.
Oh, well, you know what? I needed a tailored look for this situation. So
look, this is my thought. That's why I brought Dom on, man, because Dom is a young guy I've really been paying attention to since I started Moto, Mindset of Successful Thinking, which this podcast is actually just the offspring of Moto. It's just basically another arm of the Mindset of Successful Thinking movement. If you're not a part of the Mindset of Successful Thinking movement on Facebook, it's called Moto, #MostMoto. Just go anywhere on social media, anywhere you'll find it. It's really just a community of motivational inspiration, inspiring to be better. About my book, we have the Mindset of Successful Thinking, which you probably can't say that good, but there it is. I wrote that book about it, about having the mindset of successful thinking. I wanted to be around people to think about being successful, having the mindset of thinking successfully, and Dom ended up coming around. Dom came along because James Springer.
Yeah, James introduced us. He said, I remember he messaged me. He probably messaged you too, and said, "Hey, I got a guy who I think you should meet." And I was like, "Okay, I'm open to meeting him." And sure enough, me and Troy connected, and we've been going at it. We've been friends since.
Yeah, connected. So it's about 2-3 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
But, yeah, it's almost going to be 3 years. I think it's been officially 2, almost going on 3.
See, and Dom has been thinking of. He's a young guy. Dom, how old are you, man? You're not even 50. You look like you carry yourself as a grown man. You like 21 or something?
I'm 27.
27. So Dom is a young guy here in this game, getting it done in regard to showing people how to tailor their situation. But so Dom running the circles when it comes down to the Grant Cardone ideas, having that positive thought process. Dom, tell us a little bit about how you got into that space of really want to make sure your mindset is where it needs to be in order to be successful in life.
So, you know what? This actually goes back, further than even the Grant stuff.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to get into real estate. I knew I wanted to do a whole bunch of things. Like I just knew where I wanted to go. I remember even making like a little board. I remember making a little board of things I wanted to do, and I still have it. It's on my Instagram. I remember a long time ago saying I was going to have a house. I was going to have my own little personal house. I was going to have a little loft in downtown LA. And I remember saying that I was going to have a little rental property in Highland Park. And I remember all the dogs I was going to buy. And I knew that I needed to kind of step up a little bit to get there. And, I knew I wanted more. I still know I want more. And, I've made sure I'm going that direction,
Right.
Like a lot of us, we got little speed bumps, but I knew I just wanted to do more than I don't want to say most, but more than what I think I'm capable of.
Right. I mean, but look behind you. You got all your writings on the wall. You're literally writing it on the wall.
Yeah, literally. I got my why, and then I remember being in Grant's thing and writing down, my little dreams and stuff like that. I make sure I read it every single day.
Right. But look, you're 27. So some people may think in your eyes, you may feel like you're still behind the 8 ball, but in other people's eyes, it's like, dude, you're already ahead of the game than most. There's people that 50 years old plus trying to get to where you are mentally.
You know what? I will say this, because of my job, I work for a police department, and because of my job, I ended up having to I ended up having to mature just a little sooner. Like I've been working at a police department since I was 19 years old. And because of that, the average age there is probably somewhere around like 30s. So you have to mature in that sense. You have to mature a little faster. And I just knew I wanted to do this. I knew I wanted to do that. Like you said, you still don't know. Like my planning back at 19 was not like this. Definitely was not like this in any such way, shape, or form. But I did want to do more. And so you kind of got to mature a little bit faster. And so, like you said, I had people who tell me, you dress and act older than what you are. Yeah, because I had to mature a little faster.
Right. But when I first talked to you on the phone and you told me, yeah, man, I worked at the police department, I'm like, oh, so you like 40. Like, no, I'm 19. I mean, you were 20 something. I mean, but the fact is, you said you worked at the police department, thinking you just been in it. You're like, no, man, I've actually been doing things, been working there. You want to be a detective or something like that. Tell us a little bit about the mindset of where you always thought about just wanting to go to work and have a retirement plan to be it.
You know what? Actually, I will tell you right now, my whole thing was K9. That was all I ever wanted to do. K9 was the spot. That was where I wanted to be.
What is that? What is K9?
So K9 is basically you have a dog.
Yeah.
When I grew up, my dad was a canine officer and he had a dog, and I had learned to love dogs. And I've always said I want to be canine. I want to be canine. And I remember even upsetting my dad, saying like, hey, when I become canine, I'm gonna get more arrests and do more stuff than you. And he used to be like, shut up.
Your dad though, growing up being in police, because nowadays when it comes down to, well, not nowadays, just in general, African Americans and the police never really had that cohesive come together type thing.
True.
Your dad you grew up watching your dad be in the police force, and you actually wanted to be a policeman. You don't see too many black kids want to be a policeman.
No, you don't. But you know what? That was. I'll be honest with you. Let's go back a little bit further.
Go ahead, go in there. Let's go in it.
I originally wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
That was way high school. I was like, I'm gonna be a vet. I get to work with dogs. I'll be happy. I will be happy. And then somebody like broke my dreams and was like, well, you got to deal with cats. And I was like, oh, no. You
want to be a veterinarian, not a veteran in the service. You're talking about a veterinarian.
Yes, a veterinarian. That's what I wanted to be. And I said I want to do that, and I'll love that. But then as soon as they said you got to deal with other animals too, I was like, nah. I'm not doing that. So then jump forward a couple of years. Then I said, okay, well, I actually want to become a firefighter. And I became an explorer. I was doing that for a little bit. And, I loved it. And then I had a crossroads. I sat there and I was looking for a job and I couldn't find a job. And then the police department had reached out and said, hey, if your son can't find a job, reach out to my dad. If your son can't find a job, he should apply here. He's not in any bad he doesn't have any bad problems, no bad past, no bad history. He's a good candidate. And I remember my instructor at the time was like, hey, if you go into the police department, do not stray from going in or getting into fire. And I was like, no, I'm still going to do fire. That's what I'm going to do. And then I remember sitting there at Mount San Antonio College, Mount SAC. I remember sitting there and I wrote it out like, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? And sure enough, police beat out fire, because even with the fire department, they told me that, hey, you want to work for the fire and fight fires? That's fine. But we handle a lot of medical calls. And I was like,
yeah, because they go out first, right? They're first responders, right?
Yep. They go out first. And I was like, oh, so no fires? And they're like, we don't get as many fires as you think. And I was like, okay. So then that's when K9 kind of beat out fire. And I said, I want to do K9. And that's what made me actually go into police work.
Hold on, but Dominic, you're 18, 19 talking these type of life self-talk conversation with yourself.
Mm-hmm. In the parking lot by myself in the car.
In your car talking about, man, okay, I'm gonna go towards fire. But not only that, though, I'm still stuck on the fact that you're thinking about doing something that typical African-American kids do not think about. They are normally thinking about being an athlete, being in the sports, or being in the music industry, entertainment. You're talking about doing something the opposite of. I'm gonna think about. You actually think about going to the police force. First, I want to be a veterinarian. That's like, how many kids hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? A veterinarian. And then I want to go into being a canine police officer because your dad did it. So that makes sense. You watched him. Then you say, well, man, I want to go fight fires. I mean, this is like Halloween costume stuff. This is not like life-changing, life thought processes for typical African Americans, man. So that's males or even females. But just to hear you talking about that shows that how it's different people.
Yeah. You know what? I wasn't big in you know what? The one sport that I was actually into and I actually liked was lacrosse. I played that in high school.
What is wrong with you, man? I mean, what is wrong with you? You talking about lacrosse? You talking about freaking doing, nothing about no football, nothing about no. I was waiting on you to say I want to be a part of the swim team.
No. No.
Man,
there was.
Man. That's interesting.
No, I just didn't go that route. But you know what? I also didn't apply myself in those things either. Some people were into football. Well, guess what? They went out and practiced ball every day. It wasn't my thing. People were into basketball. I didn't really practice basketball very much. And then I remember my dad was like, hey, you want to play lacrosse? And I was like, what is that? And he was like, it's a little game with a stick. You play it. And I was like, all right. And then I liked that. I knew I had to go back and forth like I was playing basketball, but I knew that I'd probably have a little bit more stamina than football. And so that's what I liked. And that's what I enjoy. I still have my gear over there in the corner. And I do enjoy that. I do enjoy it.
Well, I tell you, and thank you to the Facebook users because I can't see your name or who it is commenting, but just give me a heads up. If you want anyone want us to see your face or want us to call you out, shout you out while you're commenting, please make sure you let the StreamYard know that you want to give them the permission to see your stuff. But thank you. Big Dream sounds good. Exactly. But I want to know too, what if it's a thing about the cultural or the demographic where you grew up? Because you're from Cali.
Yes.
So you grew up in California, so that might be different. Like in the South, you have those typical what you need to be doing. Like this is what you do. This is what your culture does.
Yeah.
In it.
You know what? My parents were a little bit more open to me doing whatever.
Right.
They just said, "Hey, as long as you go at it and go get it, just put in the work to go do whatever it is you want to do." So I didn't have anybody or anyone telling me like, "Hey, go do this. You have to go do this. You have to go do this." My parents were very open. I remember, like I said, veterinarian. Okay, here we go. You want to be fireman? Okay, here we go. You want to be a police officer? Here we go.
Yeah. And it sounds like, in Cali, they give you that free reign in California, right? Like everybody's free out in California. You got the good weather and you're just chilling out. Not only that, Dominic does something else that's different. He's a salsa dancer. Doing salsa and everything on this video and all that stuff. So this is totally opposite of what. So you can't judge a book by its cover. That's what I did. You can't judge a book by its cover. Because how tall are you? Like 6'2"?
I am actually 5'10", 5'11"ish. 5'10", 5. Yeah.
So your videos make you look even taller on top of that.
Hey, don't tell nobody that. Let's keep that. Let's make him think I'm 6 foot.
Yeah. He's out here doing different things. I think it may be a demographic. Where you what is it? Is that right? Demographic? Where you grow up at? When you're in California, I got a couple of family members and friends who live in Cali as well, and they think totally different from Southern Black people. They don't think the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because my brother always jokes about like all the little things I do. You talked about like salsa or Latin dancing. I'm also I also love photography too. I like photography. I love roller skating. I love dancing. I got my hat in a bunch of things that I enjoy. For a minute, I was actually doing some dog training with a friend of mine in Lancaster. Remember, I wanted to be canine, so I was doing whatever I had to do. So I had to get up early in the morning on a Saturday morning and then go drive like an hour and a half to Lancaster and go learn how to train dogs. And, I got scratched in the neck and got chased down a couple of times, and that was fun for me. That's fun for you.
Let me ask you, did the love for the dogs come from, like you said, your dad being a canine trainer? But did you I mean, what did the full love where you just really love dogs like this?
I just grew up with them. You know, when I was young, we had 2 German Shepherds, a working German Shepherd with my dad, and then we had a bicolor German Shepherd that's black and brown or black and tan, and then we had a boxer. So those were my 3, and then at my grandmother's house we had a Dachshund or a Wiener dog. What other dogs? You know, and we had another German Shepherd mix. So all my life I've just kind of grown up with dogs, and that's just I mean, people know. Like I know my dogs. I know my breeds. I know, you know, even within like German Shepherd groups, I know that there's the DDR, there's the Czech lines, there's Eastern European lines, there's DDRs. You know, and a lot of people don't know that stuff. You know, there's a difference between American lines and European lines. You know, and you know, even within the space too, there's a big growing population of people who are breeding dogs specifically for work. That's what they're doing. They're not breeding for looks. They're saying, hey, you have this dog who's got these traits. You got this dog who's got these traits. And we want to breed these 2 together to make another dog to enhance certain traits. And that's a big thing right now, you know?
So are you one of those guys that sit at home, watch dog shows, and eat popcorn like it's the next box?
No, you know what? You know what? I don't like the dog shows.
Okay,
I don't like the
stuff. You don't like the pressy, like, you know.
No, but you know, I'm not a big fan of those. I like dogs that actually work. Dogs that work are what I enjoy, what I like. You know, I'm okay with a little house dog and stuff like that, but I like dogs that work. And those dogs don't usually work because they're pampered and taken care of. They live
better than you and myself at times. They live better.
they got their own house, own butler, and get pampered every 2 days. Yeah.
So when Michael Vick thing happened, you was pissed off.
You know what? When it happened, I wasn't really into it. I mean, I wasn't even upset. I was just kind of like, oh well.
And that could be a cultural thing too, demographic thing too. Because when I'm growing up, seeing dogs fight was normal, and then where he grew up and seeing dogs boxing, you know, fighting and stuff like that, people do it. That was like the normal, like some people that live in the backwoods do cockfights. Like it's like, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, you know what? Dog fights never bugged me until I actually saw them. Like, for instance, if something happened in the backyard with the dogs, when I saw those would kind of bug me.
Right.
But as far as like actual dogs fighting, you know, I watched it and it doesn't bug me from afar. But when you're in it or you see it, that's different, because most dogs, when they're fighting in the backyard, it's like dominance or food aggression, something like that. Whereas, you know, those dogs are bred to simply just fight. That's what they're bred to do.
Like they bred to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So how in the world did you go from being a dog lover? I mean, you still love dogs. I'm talking about loving dogs, want to be a veterinarian, go K9, and then become a tailored, dressed up guy. Getting your nails dirty and getting your hands dirty. You know, your hands probably soft as can be. Where'd you go? How'd you get to this part? To this guy?
So what actually happened was,
I know it's a deeper thing to it, but
it's okay. So what actually happened was around 2015, 2016, somewhere around that time. I no longer I knew I didn't want to do police work anymore. I don't knock the profession at all. You know, I work with them still. I actually love all my coworkers. I just knew it wasn't for me anymore.
Did you have a suit on or like put on? Were you out there with the bulletproof vest on? Was you a detective?
So at the time when you met me, I was actually in records, but I've worked the jail. I've worked the jails twice. I've worked records twice. I've worked the front desk. I've worked in parking. I've worked in detectives. Now it's small stuff because I'm not an actual officer, but you know, little things. I've moved around the department. You know, anything that needs to happen inside the department, I can just about handle. Anything out in the field, that's a different ball game. But if you need me to book somebody, I can book somebody. You need me to take a report, I'll take a report. You need something entered into a system, I can do that too. Everything just about on the inside, I can handle that. That's actually walking the park. Now, if you ask me,
you snitching though, what you snitching? Ain't you? You snitching on everybody, ain't you? You snitching on everybody.
So
I'm snitching on them.
No. I was just like, I learned. You know what? Because I wanted to become an officer, I wanted to learn all those key components because it made me look better. You know, if I worked in the jail, that means I got jail experience and I know how to talk to people. I know how to work with people. If we didn't have records, which happens sometimes, well, I know I can work. I know I can go enter something in. I know the proper protocols as far as entering stuff in. I know that stuff. Front desk is where you learn a lot. Front desk is where you have to deal with people. You got to take phone calls. You have to deal with crazy people. You have to deal and take reports that, somebody just lost everything that they had because they traveled overseas. And, now that someone broke into their car, they don't have anything. They don't even know how they're going to get home. So I learned a lot. But back to what you were saying.
Before we go there, I know you had to have a lot of people calling you when you had all this stuff happen with the police stuff this year. Were any of your white friends calling you? Were people calling and say, Don, what's your thoughts on this? Give me your input. Because you stayed off of social media with that too. You never really got into that.
No, I didn't. It wasn't really my thing because I'm seeing two sides.
Yeah.
I'm seeing two sides. I understand one side. And I understand the other side. And it's not a comfortable place as an African American to sit there and go, I'm pro this, but I'm pro that. I don't agree with a lot of things, but do I understand it? Yes, but I don't. Like I said, I may not agree, but I understand, and I try and look through. People want black and white. Well, there's some things that are just gray. There's some things that are gray, or maybe because you're not in it, you don't understand somebody's thinking, or I don't understand what that other person was thinking. But I did stay off of it. It wasn't really my thing. There was no reason to kind of poke and prod and upset people. I know where I work, and it's not like I even sat there and was like, no, they're wrong. That's I would sit there and go, okay, that's stupid. That's stupid. But it's one of those things where everybody's different. And no one wants to ever hear that about individuals. Somebody could yell at me all day and I can be like, all right. And somebody else be yelling and then they take it a step further.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Because everybody's different, they feel that everyone should be the same, but everybody is different,
I mean, your story show is different, Dom. I mean, you show that you're totally different you're extraordinary, brother. You are an extraordinary person. You're extraordinary. You're not ordinary like everybody else. You look at you, people may look at you and say, oh yeah, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. This is the typical cultural thing. And you're absolutely going against the grain on that.
No, I love breaking stereotypes.
Huh?
I love breaking stereotypes.
Yeah.
I think it's actually fun, Yeah. Some people are like, I love fried chicken. I'm like, I love grilled chicken. Some people are like, I love watermelon. I love oranges.
Did you ever have to battle with thinking that, you got to prove your blackness at times?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because, in high school, it's not like I hung out with like the black crowd. Nothing's wrong with that. I didn't hang out with them. Not like I had any issues with them, but I just didn't hang out with them. But it's funny though, because there were times where people were like, oh, Dom, like I didn't think you were black. And then they hear my music or they see me get out at a party and go have a good time. And then they're like, oh, Dom, you really can get down. And I'm like, yeah, I can. like just because I do this doesn't mean I don't do this too. I can do both. I can do both things, and it's funny because, I went to a party a couple of years ago and this, a couple of people knew me and they were like, oh, Dom doesn't know how to like cha-cha. And I was like,
wrong thing. They should have done. What?
I was like, oh, okay. And I remember, and I was a little younger too. I was younger back then. And I remember I asked a woman to dance and she was like, you know how to cha-cha? And I was like, yeah, do you know how to cha-cha? She was like, come on. And I started turning her and she was like, oh, okay. You know how to cha-cha. I don't know how that, but yeah, it was a struggle. It is a struggle to say you're black and people.
Right. Cause if you talk with clarity, you speak with great voice and diction, people are going to say, oh, you trying to be white. right?
Yeah,
You know, carry yourself a certain way and look a certain way. They're gonna say, "Oh man, he ain't down. He ain't for the culture." So people don't understand. Sometimes black guys, black men in general, or black women too, have a tough time trying to make sure they prove that they can be taken seriously on one side by white people, right? And then taken down with the culture and taken seriously on the black side. So it can be it can be a battle, a conflict of trying to make sure you just being yourself.
True. And you know what? You can be yourself. I think that you can be yourself, no issue, no problem. You know, like I may answer the phone. Thank you for calling Culver City Police Department. This is Kellum. How can I help you? And then, you know, as soon as somebody starts going left or right, and then you just sit there and say, hey, you don't have to, you can let it come out. You know, I'm as polite as I can be at work. You know, I've worked in the jail. People come in upset. They come in upset, and I try and be polite. I'm like, hey, can we get through this? Can we get you booked? Go in the back, and then you'll be taken care of. No, screw that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Look, bro.
Now I'm
trying to help. Yeah. Then I'm like, bro, listen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out. Don't make this difficult for yourself, because then I got to call some people back here to come deal with this situation, and you don't want that. So I'm trying to help you out, and then they're like, okay, and you have to do it. You have to know how to go from here to here, or whatever levels that as an individual you might have. You got to learn how to go from I'm being really nice and I'm being really good. Okay, now you're going to take me to a level where now I got to go to another level that not too many people get to see.
And I think that's why it's important that I wanted to cover that, to show now when we go to 2016, when you start going that epiphany, because from you got your upbringing to how you carry yourself, who you've been around, and why you see why you had to grow up so fast and mature so quickly, because you've been thinking about life events at 18, 19 years old. So now when you start working in that field for so long, now it starts showing why you do the things and think the way you do. Now let's go to 2016.
So in 2016, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I didn't know what I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, I as much as I wanted to, at that time, I wanted to leave the police department, but I was like, I can't, but I didn't know what to do. Who's going to accept somebody who's only worked at a police department, and that's all he really knows. I didn't have my degree or anything like that. I was like, who's going to accept me anywhere, or how am I going to make as much as I make now anywhere else? I really didn't know. So some time went by. I joined a certain company and started learning like little business mechanics. And I started learning business mechanics, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this a little bit, but it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. Not like it. I have any issues with it. I actually love what those people do. They're in the financial services industry. I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, this is not me. But I still want to try and up myself a little bit more. So come 2018, or technically 2017, into 2017, I signed up to join Grant Cardone's little mentorship group. And I was like, okay, let's see where this takes me. And I wanted to be around the right people. And I figured that if I become a part of a big network of the right-minded people, then I will start to flourish. Because everybody talks about it, your five people who you're close to. Are you guys all going to go up? And not like, and you know what? I will straight up say this. At that time, my top 5 were not bad people. They are not bad people in any way. I just had bigger goals and bigger dreams. Doesn't take anything away from them. They're still my friends today. I got no problem with it. But I still wanted to do a little bit more. So that's why I figured that the group would help me with. And sure enough, Grant and his little networking group, Grant had pushed for everybody to go live. They said, hey, you got to talk. You got to get on camera. You got to do this. You got to do that. And me being me, I'm not in sales. I don't know what I'm really doing. And I don't know what value I bring in talking about police work when everybody's spread out all over the United States. So I was like,
in doing business, they doing sales business, and you were doing more salaried police work, which is going to help you mentally in all that you do. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know what to talk about, but I like to dress up. I like to dress up. So I did a video and showing, hey guys, here's how you're going to dress up for this event. You know, if you're going to wear a black suit, wear this. You're going to wear a blue suit, wear this. You know, this and that. And the video semi kind of went viral over the main people, the people who talked in that group. It went ballistic, or not ballistic per se, but it just gained attention. And I had people messaging me saying, hey Dom, how do you dress? Put this together. How do you put that together? You know, how do we, you know, I got this. Can you tell me how this looks? You know, should I wear blue or brown or brown and black shoes? And I was like, you do that, you do that, you do that, you don't do that. Even one gentleman was like, hey, I live not too far from you. Can we go shopping?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we went shopping, and I showed him how to put his stuff, his little outfit together. And it took off. So even while at the event, I still had people messaging me like, hey Dom, should I wear this? Should I wear that? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do that, do this, do that, do this. And then I still remember it to this day. I posted something about one of Grant's employees. He was very dressed up. He was wearing a navy blue suit. And I just took a picture and said, hey, this is how you should dress and this and that. And a woman reached out to me. Shout out to LaDawn Townsend. She said that, Dom, do you do this professionally? And I was like, no.
You just did on spur of the moment. You just said, I want to talk about police work on the live. You said, hey, y'all, let's talk about getting dressed. Because I seen that video. And then James seen it. It went viral within that Grant Cardone circle, like you said.
Yeah. So she was like, do you do this full time? And I was like, no, I just didn't know what to really talk about, but I knew I had to talk. And she scheduled an interview or scheduled an appointment with me to sit down. And she said, you know, I think you should do this. Like, think about how many people you just helped. And I got close to about maybe around 15 to 20 people who were in the group and were active, who were like, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? And I was like, okay. And mind you, I didn't even had no mindset on growing a business at the time. I really didn't. You know, not like my own.
You're just in the place where you're trying to find your lane. You know, I'm getting tired of going here, working here all the time, and dealing with this and dealing with these people. I want to get my mind right. But let me back up. What made you not go to school in today's time? But what made you not continue in your education?
You know what? There was a point where I was really trying, but I went to Mount Sac. And I worked in Culver City. So that's like maybe like a 36-mile drive sometimes. And I was getting up early and then going to work, working late nights, and I wasn't sleeping. You know, I know some people are like, you know, you got to hustle and sleep, but I just wasn't sleeping. And I was just like, why am I taking some of these courses if they're not benefiting me? I have nothing against education. I really have nothing against it. But I like actually sitting in a class and being with people. I'm a personable person. So I like being in the class. And then, like, you know, with COVID right now, everything is online based. And I'm not going to set myself up for failure because I know I get distracted. I have to be in a class. But I just wanted to get what I needed. If I'm not going to become an oceanographer or a scientist or anything like that, why do I have to take?
He throwing out all these titles as just steal.
Why? I don't need to do that stuff. I don't need to do it. I don't need to take it. Now, if you want to take speech, if you want to take mathematics, things like that, you should take the things that get you in that direction. But I didn't like that aspect. If it didn't bring anything to me, why am I taking it?
Yeah.
But that still doesn't mean I don't keep up with my education. You know, I still have to, you know, I still ask for my friends who went to business school. I still ask for their books. I'm like, hey, if you're not using the books, can I have them? Oh yeah, sure. I don't need them no more. Okay, give them to me. You know, one girl brought her whole little box, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
and just took off. But I still believe in education. I wanted to make sense. It should be for that person. If you're going to be a singer, well, you should be taking nothing but singing stuff and you know, public speaking, things of that nature. Even in writing, if you want to learn how to write, you should do that too. Become a writer. But taking sciences, taking mathematics when that's not my thing. That's where that's where I kind of have a little bit of issue. But I still like to learn though. Don't get me wrong. I still like to learn. Like I took an acting class. Because I figured it would help with my business. So I plan on going back to do that again because it helps in certain dynamics, learning how to, calm your voice down, or learning how to kick back and just kind of play and see what happens and things of that nature. That's why I kind of stopped. But at the same time, I'll be straight up honest with you. I also just didn't apply myself back then. I was making good money. And that was an extra thing. Why do I need to do that? I can take whatever classes whenever I want to that benefit me.
And that's the reason I asked that, because everyone, in today's generation, it's all about going to school and getting debt and getting debt and getting more debt. When they get out of school, they still don't know what they're going to do. So the benefit with you is that you actually know what you don't like and what you do like. So that's why it's helping you out. And then you also continuously educate yourself, because you don't have to be educated or educate yourself amongst the four walls of the traditional setup. You can start outside of that.
True. I mean, how many people learn how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and this and that, and just get paid to just do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to sit there and say to build a website or something like that and say, hey, you need an Excel spreadsheet, send me what you need, I'll send me the data and I'll make it for you. Or you need a paper written for you, or a letter written for you, send me what you want to say, and then we'll those are things that you can all learn online.
For free.
For free. Or if you want to pay, go pay it. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's why you have things like the great courses. You have the master class, and you have all the little spin-offs of master classes, masterminds, things like that. They're all you can learn all that stuff via online. Now that's just how I see it. And my grandmother is she's a big person, like, you got to get your degree. And my thinking is, okay, I understand it. I get it. I got no problem. But listen, my degree is going to help me help somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of see it. A degree is going to help. It's going to send me somewhere where I can help somebody else build. If I'm trying to build my own thing, that means I got to take things my own direction.
Right.
I understand, and I told her, I understand what you're saying. I have no issue with what you're saying, but understand that I'm trying to build my own thing here. This is not for somebody else.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, and a good thing I'm seeing too with this is that, well, as you're learning even more, is that you got to build something regardless. Rather you go to school or not, anything you do in business got to help somebody else anyway. As you're building your thing, you got to make sure your deal is helping someone else to make sure you get paid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That young lady asked you about you building your business now, because something that you came across on accident, because you know what what you're going to talk about. Now you've gone viral within this club and within this meeting and mastermind group. Did you meet with this young lady about saying, hey, you should do this full time? And then this guy call you, 20 people actively doing this, like, hey, Dom, can you help me out? And then you get people ready for GrowthCon, because you get people dressed up for GrowthCon. That's how I did it. And that's what James told me about you, is because, man, this guy, was dressing guys up to get ready for GrowthCon to look their best and tailoring their situation. Right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially you say, hey, man, I'm getting people dressed up, get them on point, get them ready to go. Now you're tailoring the situation. When did you start actually creating the tailored situation brand?
So I started after I lived on. She helped me build it out and what we were going to do and things like that. That was in maybe July of 2018. And I still didn't even have a name. I remember wanting to say I wanted to call it Dynamic Kings. That was my thing. I was like, it's got my initials, it's DK, like Dynamic Kings, like that's gonna be the thing. And I remember I took a little trip to Boca Raton to meet another 10Xer, Sandra Italiano, and she was just like, "You got to have something like with a little something, like you got to have something." And she kept saying like tailored, no, something, no, and we were just throwing ideas out. And then I just said, I think she or but I said situation, and then one of us had said, "Oh, tailored situation," and then we were like, "Yeah, there we go. We got it." And I was like, "Okay, I got the name. We're good. That's what I like." And yeah, probably around July is when I started building it, but I still didn't even have much of a brand until like this year. I still didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Last year, I didn't really do a whole lot. But that first couple of months when I started Tailored Situation, I got like 5 clients right off the bat. And me not knowing what I was doing, and everybody was a little different. This person was a speaker. This person was a real estate person. This person was trying to figure out his own brand. And I was just like, okay, how do I figure this out? And I really didn't know, but July 2018 is when they kind of all started to move.
But then, so 2019, you didn't do really much, but then you decided, I remember when you posted it up saying, man, I'm going in. 2020 is my year. We're going vision clear. We're going to make this situation big. And then freaking pandemic hit.
Yeah. So 2019, I went through my little things and I didn't do anything, but I also got a little smarter. I knew that I was doing too much for too little.
Tell us about that a little bit. Because this whole thing is about the Noti Lounge, not overthinking it. This is what Noti stands for. So what 2019?
So 2019, I was ready. I had already had like my 5 clients, and I was like, okay, let's go. 2019, we're gonna do this. And about February to March, I kind of things just kind of went spiraling out of control quick. It was hard for me to wake up. It was hard for me to do anything. I didn't want to do a whole lot. And I couldn't pinpoint it. Like I remember a girl I was dating at the time, she was like, "What is wrong?" And I was like, I don't know. Like I can't figure it out. And then come to find out, and I call it like the funk. Like I'm just in my little funk. And looking back on it, I can say that I was in like a little bit of a depression. What do you do when you just wake up and you don't feel like doing anything? You're simply just waking up. And at that time, the funny thing was, 2018 to summer of 2018 to 2019, I had lost about 40 pounds. I lost all that weight and I was excited. Between February and March, I basically put on about all that weight back on. Or I went from like 200, 205 back to like 235. And just didn't know what to do. And so I wasn't really in it 100% last year, and I just was kind of like, all right, this and that. But it's hard to get yourself out of that little mind game of you don't know what to do. You go to work, come home, that's it.
Yeah.
And I dealt with it for a long time. February to March was the hardest, and then it kind of lingered for a little bit, and then I wouldn't say it got worse, but I didn't really catch it. I didn't really do much about it. I just felt a little bit better. And then 2020, or at the end of 2019, I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna get out of this. Let's go. We're running 2020. Let's do this. And like you said, pandemic hit. And
right.
And I was like,
how did you get out of? How did you work out? Was it those? So did you pull back on those conversations you had through the mastermind groups? Did you start looking at those quotes you got on your wall that I see you got framed now? Cause I remember they used to just be tacked on your wall. Now you got framed. I mean, is it like is that those things you start pulling yourself? How did you pull yourself out of that? Because a lot of people on here are entrepreneurs, business owners. They go through funks all the time and they just think it's a funk, but then they start spiraling out and they don't know how to get out of that. How did you work out of that? Did you go talk to somebody?
It's cliche, but you you're gonna have to. There's a point where you just have to say, I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to look in the mirror and be like, I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get into a routine of doing good things. Like if you just wake up every day and you just say, okay, I'm up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like you can't do that. So what I had to try and figure out a routine. So for me, my routine was to work out. Actually, during that time, I would say I didn't really get out of it until about this year. I had to wake up, write my journal, and it was almost like saying a prayer every morning. Dear Lord, thank you for this and that, and I want to get this done today. I want to get this done. Thank you. We're gonna be okay. And then you got to go back to looking at why you're doing things. You got to go back and look at some of the dreams that you used to have and things of that nature. And it takes a little bit, but there's more to it. You also got to start hanging out with the right people, start talking to the right people. Association is so critical when you're going through it and you feel like you have nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you are with someone, but they don't understand everything you're going through, and it's hard. It's hard to go through something like that and then not be able to tell a significant person like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. You can't, because you don't even know what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had to get in a little bit of routine. Wake up, journal, go walk, go listen to Les Brown, E.T., Jim Rohn, whoever. Most Moto kicked in quite a few times. So I would suggest everybody go listen to Most Moto. But things like that are critical. You have to be around the right people. You got to get into a little bit of a rhythm of, this is what makes me happy on a day-to-day basis. You got to get a little healthier. Find healthy habits of dealing with stress, or being able to just know. I think the big thing last year was that I didn't know how to deal with it because I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
This year I'm much better at catching when a funk comes.
Yeah.
And it can come randomly, but you got to be able to sit there and go, okay, I feel it. It's coming. If you keep up with your routine, your routine will beat the funk.
Right. And
as long as you keep up with it, it will beat it 9 times out of 10. Is what I'm learning. Or sometimes you just gotta go a little harder. Instead of writing 1 page, I had to write 2. Instead of looking at this for a second, I had to sit there and just kind of stare at it like, okay, you gotta do this, and then you gotta start believing a little bit. You gotta start believing that this is why, and that all becomes with self. I think a lot of times we try and put on this persona of trying to be somebody else, and now I've got to a point where I'm like, this is me. Accept it or not.
Yeah. How important was your dress, your tailoring, your situation of how you look played in this whole getting out of the funk and trying to move and be better?
You know what? When I actually put on a suit, this is home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable in my workout clothes. I'm comfortable, but this feels like when you put on a suit, you should feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You either feel important or you feel like you're going to go do something important today. Mm-hmm. And so dressing up is one of those things where if I didn't dress up, I knew I was going to like slouch, and I still have to do it to this day. If I'm going to go work on something, I might even talk to anybody all day. I might just sit in my room and try and plan and strategize. I still got to be, maybe not to a full suit, but I still have to dress up in like a dress shirt, business casual, and just sit there and go, okay. Because when I'm in that mode, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm in work mode at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I'm in jeans and sweats, I'm kind of like,
you slouching out a little bit, kicking it.
Yeah, you slouch, but as soon as you put on a suit, you should feel like, hey, I got work to do. Like I have to go tailor somebody's situation. Right. And that's a big thing.
And I think that's why you're so because yesterday when I talked to you on the phone, or 2 days ago, whenever it was, I've never heard you so confident about Taylor's situation in my life. And that's why I said we got to get you on the phone, get you on the show, because it shows where you've grown even in 2020, one of the most difficult times in life. You've grown exponentially. That sounds mentally, physically, and also how you caring about, taking your brand. Because now I seen the video you put up when a guy during the pandemic needed a suit, and he didn't know how important the suit was. Like, you showed him how to tie a tie. He put that suit on and he got ready for his photo shoot. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it shows by it's been such something that's in you. You can now show and portray to someone else how important it is to tailor that situation to look a different way, and how important that wearing that suit could be.
Well, yeah. I mean, even with his situation, he was, he had told me that, it was supposed to be for like just a birthday little thing. He had dressed up and it was for his birthday. And I was like, okay, no problem. But, after talking to him more, it was like, Dom, I sit on the board for a school and we have our meetings and we deal with money all the time. And I show up in jeans and a t-shirt. Now, this is where I kick in and I'm like, bruh, do you not see our skin color? Do you not know we got to show up that much more? You have to have a suit. You have to dress up a little bit more. And that should always be a thing. If people want to say we're behind, if people want to say African Americans are behind the 8 ball, my thing is not to sit there and go, well, screw that and this and that. I understand that there's systematic racism, but guess what? That just means we got to work that much harder. And guess what? If that means you got to wear a 3-piece, you got to wear a 3-piece. If that means you got to go dress up, you got to go dress up. If you got to wear a pocket square and speak a little differently, you have to do that. And, there's nothing wrong with playing ball on the same court, knowing that you're better.
Yeah, I like that. Say that again. There's nothing wrong with playing ball on the same court and know that you're better. That's deep.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing ball on the same court and knowing that you're going to end up winning.
Ooh, Dom, you drop it. That's a jewel right there, boy.
Yeah, that's a naughty tip.
Yeah. Also, the other day about the 3 P's, about something, you said I can't remember what they were.
Oh, don't worry, I got it for you. So the 3 P's that Taylor's situation is based around is package, present, and profit. What that basically means is package meaning you. That you are a package, you are a gift to somebody, or that's how you should see yourself. So guess what? You have to look a certain way. You got to look a certain way. And as far as packaging, that's just simply having the suits, the shirts, the ties, the shoes, the pocket squares. All that comes as being a part of a package. Once you get your package down, it's now time to present. This is the second part. It's time to present. You got to make a great first impression, a hell of a second impression, and a lasting impression. Your first impression is the first thing that they see. It's what you look like. Guess what? You wear a suit or you look different than everybody else, you're gonna gain attention. So that's your first impression. Somebody sees you and they go, ooh, okay, I want to go see what that person's all about. The second thing is what you say. How you act or what you say is a big thing. And you should be able to sit there and go, hey, I'm Dominic, founder of Taylor Situation. I help men transform themselves by making sure they present themselves so they can profit from any situation. Things like, you got to be able to do that. And then a lasting impression is, what are you going to do to either be remembered or say? You got to get somebody to say, hey, I want to go talk to that person again, or I need to go link up with that person. And then the last part is profit. You should profit 2 ways. You should profit either financially or you should profit relationship-wise. Financially, you just gained a new client or a new acquisition, new whatever. Relationship-wise, well, you should have somebody sit there and say, I like you. Next time I see somebody who's not dressed up, I'm going to send them your way. Or maybe you just gain another friend who holds you accountable and is just like, hey, I like your vibe, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I don't have to, like everything about you, but I do like you for who you are. That's how things should go in life.
Nice.
Package, present, profit.
Look at that. I'm going to definitely use that as a snippet on this thing. I got 2 last questions. Number one being, so now that the pandemic is here and it's like it's not going anywhere anytime soon, no one wants to dress up. No one's buying no suits. No one is buying anything because typically they're showing up. If they got a webcam meeting, they show up with the top on and they take it off. They got they got drawers on, or no dress pants. They just got on underwear or something like that. So how do you deal with that? Because I have people used to call me all the time about trying to sell me shoes or custom made suit. I'm like, man, no one. I'm not going outside after this interview. So I'm taking this button down off and I'm going to put me on the t-shirt. So how do you go around that?
So essentially, right now, here's how I see things going. There's two things about to happen. Your general stores, such as like your Joseph A. Banks, your Men's Warehouses, your Brooks Brothers, they're all going out of business because, like you said, no one's dressing up. So then what happens? That's going to lead into e-commerce. You're going to have things like the Thai Bar, Caraco suits, and places like that. They're going to start being the people who have suits, and maybe your little mom and pop shops too. They're kind of striving. They're barely holding on, but they're striving a little bit. But to e-commerce. So guess what? When everything moves to e-commerce, guess what I'm gonna do?
Like you froze up a little bit. It's all good. Let's keep going. Hope you come back in.
You there? I don't know. I'm okay. I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. You said you're going to everybody in the e-commerce and you're gonna be on there.
Oh, so yeah, everything's shifting to e-commerce, and because everything's shifting to e-commerce, if you're going to stand out in today's world, you still need to gain attention. You still need to gain attention, and guess what? A lot of guys stress about how to dress. They look at a situation and they go, okay, I got a blue suit, I got a blue tie, and I got a white shirt. Good. That means I'm ready. I'm ready, and it's just like, you're ready. Yes, you are correct. You're ready, but are you doing anything to gain attention?
Tailoring. Are you tailoring your situation?
Do you have a tailored situation? And that's actually what I want to get across, is that you should be able to pull out something and go, nah, that's not a tailored situation. and if it's not, you got to go back and go figure out what it is that you're going to do. So essentially, I'm coming up with a game plan, and the game plan is going to be a situational game plan in which somebody calls me or texts me and they say, hey, this is what I got going on. I got a podcast. I got a podcast tomorrow. His colors are blue and gold. I kind of want to represent him in this thing. What do I wear? Okay, well, what do you have? What's in your package? What do you have? What don't you have? I don't have a white shirt right now. Okay, you gotta go get a white shirt. I don't have a blue suit. Okay, what color suit do you have? Black. I actually, those are things that, I had to learn how to pivot. If pandemic's not going nowhere, I have to shift. Everybody else is going to learn how to shift too, because they're going to want their situations tailored when everything comes back to being normal. But think about how many people are going to start buying new suits. How many people have lost weight? How many people have gained weight? How many people are, they don't know where they're going to get the next suit from, because just about almost every Joseph A. Bank in California closed except in Fresno. Where do you go? And guess what? You're not going to be able to pair those things together. You're going to get an orange. You're going to end up buying like an orange or yellow tie, and then you're going to go, ooh, I didn't do this correct.
But the good thing is you already tailored for this. You did this already for the Grant Cardone thing.
I did. So I'm ready.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. I'm ready to kick it and drive, and make sure that everyone's got a tailored situation.
He'll pop back in here in a second.
Now I'm back. There I go. I don't know what's going on with this internet, but
I only got one more last question right now. Since you've already set yourself up for the new wave, going in the new direction, when it comes down to actually being online, you're already doing that. I mean, that's not even something. This should be not even a hiccup for you, for sure. And I already showed us not, because you're looking at people, like the people now, they got weight trainers. They got their trainers are now online just looking at them like, do 10 more jumping jacks.
Yeah.
You're looking at, hey, man, show me what you got in your closet right now. Okay, yeah, that's not working. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. What would you like to, what's your last leaving impression for anyone today that's listening to this that may have been in that funk, which we have people commenting, like someone mentioned, say, get to know yourself and you will come to know how to get yourself out of funks that life brings you. You get to know, people knowing, well done to you, to say, well done, Taylor, to the show. That's true. I mean, you tailored this whole deal, your story to this whole thing. You even dressed up today with the blue and the yellow and everything.
Yep.
What's the last comment you want to leave to someone that need to either tailor a situation in whatever capacity? I mean, what's your last comment to inspire somebody, before you leave?
You know what? Tailor situation is it is how you dress. It is how you look. But I think that what would be better in this world if you learned how to tailor to other situations. For instance, as much as I love, getting dressed up, that's one way of me tailoring someone's situation. You tailor other people's situation through Most Moto and the Noti Lounge. It's a different form of tailoring situation. The minute I think you start to move into a space of, and this is, cliche, but I believe it. How do you help somebody else? I think that's the big thing. How do you help somebody else? And you may not know all the answers. I thought about, I get people who are like, Dom, I need help with this. I need help with that. And I'm like, okay, I'll see if I can look into it and see if I can figure something out. You may not know how to find a music producer, but guess what? You ask enough people and you might find one. Or, you have to go out and meet people and figure out, how do I help somebody else? And sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But the fact is, you have to sit there and say, how can I tailor somebody? How can I tailor somebody's situation? And tailor situation is all about helping the next person. Yes, it is depending on how you look for a tailored look, but it's deeper than that. It's you being able to sit there and go, okay, here's my situation. I'm in this funk. I got to tailor it for myself. That's my mom. But I got
mom. I don't know.
I don't know. It could be either one. But
either way, it's somebody that's showing love to you.
Yeah. So, but you got to sit there and go, okay, this is my situation. I got to somehow tailor it for my needs. If you're in a funk, how do you get out of that funk? How are you going to figure it out? Or maybe you might need help. You might need help getting out of a funk. That's the whole basis that I learned is tailor situation. I got out of my own funk. I made my own business. I dressed up the way I feel like dressing up. I'm doing things. I'm losing weight and doing what I need to do. It's tailored to my situation. I got a knee problem right now. I can't do legs. Well, I got to figure out how I still keep up with walking or doing legs or working out. Everything that you do is a tailored situation. It just depends on how you're going to tailor it.
They're smart, man. Well, look, tell them how they can connect with you. We're going to have it on the flyer, how they can follow with you, but how can they connect with Dom to be able to tailor their situation?
You can connect with me via Instagram, Facebook. Right now I'm jumping on Twitter. But those are the best ways to reach me. Instagram is DomK118. You can even reach me at Tailored Situation. Facebook, Dominic Kellum. That's probably the best way to reach me. And, just say, hey, I saw your thing on Noti Lounge. I really love it. I would love to connect with you. And I'll surely sit there and tailor everyone's situation.
Nice, man. Well, look, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining the Noti Lounge today. Remember,
thank you, everybody.
Remember, the true outcome of having the mindset of successful thinking is having an unwavering expectation of successfully achieving a predetermined goal, knowing that the outcome was supposed to happen. Remember, the two most important currencies in life are time and relationships. Time, you got to invest wisely because you can't get it back. Relationships get you places that money can't buy. Thank you to our guest, Dom Kellum, trying to tailor our situation. Dom, give him a shout out.
All right, everybody. Hope you had a great day. I hope you learned a lot from this. Remember, tailor your situation or tailor somebody else's situation. That's the biggest takeaway that I got for you guys today.
Nice, man. Well, that's the Night Lounge. We appreciate you. Show up. Hey, remember to go. Make sure you actually subscribe to any platform we're on. Just look on the Night Lounge podcast, and we'll be able to see you at the next one. Holla.
Shout out to the Naughty Lounge, everybody.